Happened on November 3rd, 2021, during 8th period English. It was one of those gray afternoons where the sky looks like wet concrete. I remember checking the clock, 1:42 p.m., right before the intercom clicked on. But it wasn't the principal's voice, just a single, shaky breath. Then, lockdown. This is not a drill. Everyone froze. Ms. Carter immediately locked the door, killed the lights, and shoved a bookcase against the handle. We all crawled into the corner behind her desk. I could hear someone quietly crying. At first, it was silent except for our breathing. Then, maybe 5 minutes in, the sound started, slow footsteps in the hallway. Heavy ones. Not rushing, not panicked. Just, wandering. They stopped right outside our door. Whoever it was didn't try the handle. Instead, they just stood there. I swear I could hear them breathing through the crack under the door, this low, uneven inhale, like someone trying not to wheeze. Then they whispered something. Not loud, not clear. Just this soft, almost friendly, "I know someone's in there." One of the kids, Tyler, let out a whimper, and Ms. Carter squeezed his shoulder so hard her knuckles went white. The footsteps moved on after that. Slow, almost casual. 30 minutes later, police escorted us out. They said someone had called in a threat from a blocked number, and that a suspect never entered the building. No one matched the description of the footsteps we heard. They brushed it off as panic, imagination, or a staff member doing rounds. But here's what keeps me up. When we finally stood up and moved the bookcase away, there were fresh fingerprints smeared along the lower part of the door, right where someone would crouch to look underneath. It was March 14th, around 2:45 p.m. I was sitting in my last class of the day, AP Biology, just scrolling through my phone under the desk. The teacher was writing something on the board when the intercom clicked on. Usually, it's just reminders about lunch or announcements, but this time it was different. "This is a lockdown. Everyone stay in your classrooms. Lock your doors. Do not leave." At first, everyone laughed nervously, thinking it was a drill. But when I glanced at the other teachers' faces through the window, their expressions were tight, panicked. I immediately locked the door, sliding the bolt. My heart was racing. Outside, I could hear muffled footsteps in the hallway. Not the usual clatter of students, but slow, deliberate. Then came a sound that made my stomach drop, a soft, dragging noise, like something heavy being pulled across the floor. I texted my friend, but my phone wouldn't send. The hallway lights flickered once, then went out. Silence. Then the dragging started again, closer this time, directly outside our door. Crouched behind my desk, trying not to breathe. Footsteps stopped. Could hear nothing. Then, very slowly, the doorknob rattled. Hard. Once. Twice. Then, a whisper. Just one word. My turn. I swear, it wasn't coming from a student. Or at least, it didn't sound human. We stayed in lockdown for nearly an hour before the police arrived, but I can't get that whisper out of my head. Tried to tell myself it was someone's idea of a sick joke. Every time I close my eyes, I can hear it again. I keep wondering, what would have happened if the door hadn't been locked? Happened during third hour on November 3rd, 10:42 a.m. We were halfway through a quiz when the intercom cut in with a loud click. "This is a lockdown. Teachers, secure your classrooms immediately." No explanation. No drill notice. Our teacher locked the door, shut the blinds, and told us to sit against the far wall. My legs kept shaking. For about 10 minutes, it was silent except for someone quietly crying near the back. Then we heard running in the hallway. Not panicked, fast, intentional. A door further down slammed. Another one creaked open. You could hear the metal echo through the corridor. The lockdown lasted 35 minutes until the principal finally came back on. "The suspect has left the area. Students must remain inside until dismissal." When the final bell rang, everyone sprinted out like nothing happened. I walked home like I always do. That's when I noticed the white van. Not in our school's lot, but parked across the street in the empty lot by the old community center. No markings. Engine running. I told myself I was being paranoid. But halfway home, I realized the van was behind me, moving slow. Too slow. I turned down a side street, and it turned too. My stomach dropped. I cut through a neighbor's yard and ran the rest of the way. By the time I got home, the van was nowhere in sight. I locked every door and tried to calm down. At around 6:30 p.m., while I was heating leftovers, I heard gravel crunching outside my window. Not loudly, just one or two steps. Then a soft knock at the side door. Not the front. The side one no one ever uses. I froze. My phone buzzed with a text from my mom saying she'd be home late. Then the doorknob turned. Slowly. Once. And again. That's when I saw it through the gap in the curtains. The same white van parked at the edge of our driveway, its headlights off. I never heard the person leave. Not even sure they did. Barely sleep now. Every night, I swear I can hear someone walking around our house, checking the doors, waiting for one to be unlocked. I keep thinking about the lockdown. How the principal said the suspect left the area. What if he didn't?